Indiana solar farms. What are the benefits to you farmers? This is Hoosier Ag Today. Good morning. Welcome to the morning podcast on August 25, 2021. I'm Andy Eubank with the Wednesday podcast, and we'll hear on solar from former Indiana Senator Joe Donnelly. Eric Pfeiffer with the news coming up. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin says the hot and humid conditions continue. Will more showers pop up? And the soybean futures market was strong yesterday, pulling corn higher as well. We have numbers and Arlen Suderman analysis. The news begins right now here on HAT.
Donnelly promotes the benefits of solar on your farm. I'm Eric Pfeiffer, and this is Hoosier Ag Today. At the intersection of agriculture, renewable energy, and climate. That was the theme of the Summer Agriculture and Policy Forum put on by the Indiana Agriculture Coalition for Renewable Energy and the Indiana Agriculture Climate Alliance Tuesday in Danville. The event brought together farmers, ag industry leaders, and members of the energy industry to discuss renewable energy and climate. Former U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly spoke at the event, promoting the benefits of adding solar panels to your farm. He calls it a win-win. In addition to it being good for the environment, it provides farmers
great payments. They average about $800 an acre per year where solar installations are in place on farms. So for our farmers, it's a diversification. It reduces risk. Having solar is just one more way to diversify risk, to create more stability, to create a stronger balance sheet, which enables you to pass it on to your next generation, to your children and grandchildren.
Opponents of adding solar to farms argue that you're taking good, productive farmland out of production. To that, Donnelly responds,
there's not a lot of people who are smarter than our farmers. Our farmers are entrepreneurs, they're risk takers. They, in effect, are running a business, trying to feed the world. They wear a lot of hats, and they're incredibly smart and talented people. And what you find is that our farmers leave their most productive land in production, and their least productive land, that's the stuff that goes into solar. So, the land that might have produced 4 ears of corn an acre, that becomes the solar field.
Donnelly adds that a little bit of farmland converting to solar goes a long way.
Counties have the opportunity at any time in their land ordinances to say, look, we don't want any more than 2% of our county's farmland to be in solar. It's up to the individual counties. And that minimal percentage helps to create clean energy that helps to provide the opportunity for your children and grandchildren to live in a cleaner world.
Visit HoosierAgToday.com to hear my full interview with Donnelly and to learn more about the Indiana Agriculture Coalition for Renewable Energy and the Indiana Agriculture Climate Alliance.
It's back and it's live. 3 days like no other event for farmers. It's why producers come from around the globe to the Farm Progress Show. Hundreds of exhibitors will be there looking to connect with you growers. And in many instances, you get to meet the people who designed, developed, and tested the products. Make plans to be in Decatur, Illinois the week before Labor Day, August 31st, September 1st, and 2nd. Get all of the information and buy your tickets at farmprogressshow.com. We look forward to seeing you in Decatur.
This is Money Minute, farm financial tips from AgriFinancial's ag experts. Today we're talking with Sonia Evans, a 26-year veteran of the industry. Our topic this month, lines of credit. Sonia, what's the big advantage for getting a line of credit?
One of the big draws to these lines of credit, it gives the farmer the buying power to be readily available to make some fast decisions on purchases, such as a foreclosure of a property if they are needing funds quick and easy. That line of credit is already out there and it is approved.
So in other words, it gives the farmer some flexibility in managing his operation.
If they already have this all in place and they come across the property, it saves them from having to get approved and having downtime, and just waiting to get an approval, and they may lose that sale of that piece of property or a piece of equipment that they're going after. And if they already have this available, then it's there for them.
To connect with Sonia, visit cgb-agfi.com and join us again for another edition of Money Minutes from AgriFinancial.
All right, Gary, thanks. More news anytime at HoosierAgToday.com. I'm Eric Pfeiffer. Hoosier Ag Today, timely, relevant, credible.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with Hoosier Ag Today's Indiana Farm Forecast, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the largest Ohio-based independent seed company and the Eastern Corn Belt's fastest-growing independent seed company. Visit seedgeneticsdirect.com for more information. All right, so heat and humidity continue to be big players across Indiana. The heat and humidity sparked a few showers yesterday, but in terms of stronger thunderstorms, you had to see that moisture stay farther off to the north and west. Minnesota getting pounded yesterday, even parts of Wisconsin. As we move through the day today, we're looking at a little bit of moisture trying to come down farther south, particularly later this afternoon and evening. I will look for showers and thunderstorms over the northern half of the state mostly. I don't think southern Indiana sees much at all. And then as we finish out the week, Thursday and Friday, right on through Friday midnight, I think we're going to be seeing hit and miss showers and thunderstorms to varying degrees of frequency and coverage coming through the Hoosier State. I think the best way to look at this is as a combined period. So from basically right now through midnight Friday, I think we're looking at rain totals anywhere from a half to likely 1.5, 1 3/4 inches. The top end of the range completely governed by who gets thunderstorms. And of course, if the thunderstorms are strong enough, they can exceed that 1 3/4 inches. But most of the northern 2/3 of the state sees this moisture. You get down into the southwest and far southern parts of Indiana, you may not see much of anything. So I'll put coverage at around 75 to 80%. We are dry basically for the entire weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we are hot. We are humid as well. Sunday night through early Monday, we have a frontal boundary that sags southward, gives us another 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch with coverage around 90% of Indiana. And then we move through the rest of next week, still dealing with above normal temperatures and maybe some heat-based instability. I'm going to allow for some pop-up showers in southern Indiana Tuesday, central to southern Indiana Wednesday, but I think coverage will only be about 40 to 50% of the state there. And then we actually have the remains of what looks like a tropical system trying to come up through the mid and lower Mississippi River Valley the later part of next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And right now, projections are that some of that moisture puts down some really good rains across southern parts of Indiana and northern Kentucky on the order of 1 to 2, 2.5 inches. So watch that. Anytime you're talking about a tropical system trying to get its remains thrown up here, yeah, jury's out, especially 10 days out on this, but I want to tell you to keep an eye on that overall. So right now, the haves and the have-nots are being discussed quite frequently. I'm hearing daily, hey, we missed this rain, or we missed the last few rains. So I do think there's moisture that's going to be around over the next 3-4 days or so. But it's definitely going to be weighted more toward northern Indiana than south. And I also think even in northern Indiana, there are going to be significant holes, significant areas that get missed. The heat and humidity not going away anytime soon. I'm keeping now the heat all the way through the end of our 10-day forecast window into early September. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
A very nice rally in soybean futures. This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank with the Tuesday Farm Market Review. It's brought to you by Co-Alliance Cooperative, your local agriculture and energy partner for nearly a century. Soybeans on Tuesday strong all day long. That was a benefit to the corn market as well. Numbers coming up. First, market analysis from Arlen Suderman from StoneX. Arlen, strong soybeans. Corn followed higher as well. Plenty to talk about, including the weather. And let's start, though, with the condition of the crop. The USDA update on Monday did say a decline in corn and soybean condition, significant enough that it did or did not have an impact on market movement.
It contributed to the market movement today. I don't think it was all of it by itself. There's also some demand factors in there, and the fact that we were coming back from what was overselling late last week as we finished off the week. That was on the rumors that the EPA had forwarded its recommendations for the blending mandates to the White House, and kind of speculation that those would be bearish reductions in the blending mandates. We won't know that for several weeks, probably unwarranted particularly on the biodiesel or the soy oil, I should say, side of it, because we think that the new renewable fuels, this new generation of renewable fuels is going to keep demand for soy oil strong regardless. And that'll probably help support the shortage of the feedstocks for those. It'll probably help support the need for ethanol production in 2022 as well. So we thought the market overreacted to that bearish news to close out the week. I think the market's starting to realize that, aided by the drop in supply now anticipated from the drop in crop ratings and the export sales we've seen the last 2 mornings, with China returning to buy more soybeans and Mexico buying corn.
What is the demand picture? And you mentioned China and Mexico. What overall is the demand outlook here in the short term?
Well, I think it's very positive. The only real fly in the ointment we were concerned about was China with their hog numbers being down significantly. We've seen lower crush through the summer, and we worried that that might linger into the fall. They might end up buying fewer soybeans from us, and that's still possible. But it's very encouraging that we are seeing China now actively buy newly harvested soybeans from the south and getting them loaded on boats for delivery by the end of September into early October. That suggests that perhaps the demand in October is going to be stronger than what we first thought, considering what's still flowing from Brazil. So I think overall the demand picture remains very solid, necessitating that we have a trend yield in soybeans and something close to trend. We could probably drop to 174 as a national yield or so in corn, but something very close to trend to maintain the demand for corn.
Arlen, here in Indiana, it is dry. We do expect possibly some rains. They've been very hit or miss in recent weeks, actually much of the summer. Are these crops made, or are there some possibilities of further degradation in the crops and ultimately some yields that are severely impacted by what we've got so far weather-wise in August?
Yeah, really 30% of the yield is yet to be determined. Now, that doesn't mean that because it's hot and dry, we're going to see yield drop by 30%. But that means that just because we've gone into the dent stage in some fields of corn doesn't mean that that yield's done. Hot, dry conditions still increase the moisture demand on that plant as it's trying to continue to fill the kernel. And so that impacts the depth of kernel. And if you have a 5% smaller kernel because of hot, dry conditions and there's not enough moisture in the soil for the plant to pull, that's a 5% reduction in yield. It could be more than that. The opposite was true in 2017 when we were cool and wet, and we had a much bigger yield than what was anticipated. So I'm very concerned. And also we're seeing a lot of late season diseases showing up as well, just to add to the plant stress.
Hogs and cattle, pretty volatile week so far. At least we're certainly working both sides of unchanged. Some strong moves here and there. What's happening in the livestock markets?
Well, as we look at the hog market, it's generally this is time of year and we see a seasonal increase in the supply of hogs, and we are seeing that. Slaughter numbers are dramatically increasing now. It's also the time of year and we see a seasonal decline in demand domestically, and with China now slowing its export purchases, that's decreasing the demand as well. So some weakness in the hog complex. When we look at cattle, we were strong earlier in the day. We had trouble holding those gains. Overall, we're encouraged that looks like we're talking about a slaughter number of 665,000 head for the weekly kill. That would be a definite improvement, helping to get us current. The biggest problems have been in the Southern Plains Feedlot District. Feeders in that area are saying they think they're getting current. So the feeders starting to gain some leverage. We've been seeing the prices, cash prices in the Southern Plains start to inch higher, and more significantly, saw some trade in the Northern Feedlot District at $129.50, which is a dramatic improvement. So we are seeing more support underneath the cattle market, with product demand being very strong.
Arlen Suderman, Chief Commodities Economist at StoneX and StoneX.com. On the Hat Market Review, the final numbers from Tuesday, a nice jump in the corn market. September 544.5, up 6.5, and December corn almost a dime higher, 545.25. That was up 9 3/4. 43 cents higher. September soybeans 13.37, 39 up on the November 13.31 3/4, and September wheat in Chicago 7.18, down a penny 3/4. October live cattle 131.70, down 25. October lean hogs 86.97, down 50 cents. I'm Andy Eubank with the Tuesday Review. This is Hoosier Ag Today. Timely, relevant, credible.